I'm bigcal and welcome to my world. Today, another Star Wars book video. I've now finished the final book in the Thrawn Trilogy, and this one was called The Last Command. Again, another excellent book. The entire trilogy is a fantastic read. Definitely urge everyone to get it. The books all together all cost you under 20 quid for all three. They're £6 something each pretty much, so yeah, under 20 quid. So the last book. Let's see, plenty of stuff again happens within these books. We have Talos Card. He's the big smuggler, sort of supposedly crime lord sort of thing. He basically took over from Jabba the Hutt, essentially sort of like the biggest one. He gathers a bunch of smugglers together to try and bring them all in to help the rebellion. Not necessarily being on their side and fighting in the wars, but simply supplying them information in exchange for money, which is what Han Solo was trying to do in the first book and was unsuccessful. So Card's trying to do it here because he basically realises that, although he doesn't want to take sides, if the Empire and their new clone troopers start taking over, they're going to be fucked. No matter what, they're going to be fucked. Plus, the Empire's already pissed at him, so that doesn't help. So we have that. There's a little subplot where Thrawn finds out about it and tries to make it seem like Card is deceiving them. They all meet up together and some Imperials come along and they have a big shootout. The Imperials die, obviously. And it turns out that one of the other smugglers who we've met, who's pretty much an arsehole. I can't remember his name offhand. There's that many names and I can't pronounce half of them anyway. But it turns out he hired them and he did it to try and get on Thrawn's good side. Thrawn wasn't too happy that he basically paid Imperial troopers to go in and die, because Thrawn, unlike Vader and the Emperor, isn't happy about losing men. But he does eventually use it to his advantage and tries to set it up so that everyone will think Card hired them to make it seem like the Emperor's a bigger threat to them than they actually were, to get them to join. But they all figure stuff out and the arsehole smuggler ends up getting his, which was fun. There's another attack on Leia and her now children. She's given birth. I don't know if she gave birth in the last book of this one. I think it might have been in this one, but yeah, she's given birth now to two kids, a boy and a girl. And yeah, we have some new people now, some specialist Imperial troopers, because the Nogari, the Nogri, again, don't know how you pronounce it, I just said Nogri. They clearly haven't been doing the job well, and of course they are sort of moving away from the Empire now, given what Leia said to them in the previous book. So there's an attack on them. Mara Jade's there because she's been recovering from what happened to her at the end of the second book. She helps out, but of course Thrawn, realising that this plan was probably going to fail anyway, planted the seeds that Mara Jade had let them in to the base and things like that. So Mara Jade was locked up for a while. They were hoping to maybe keep her locked up so that if she did know about the Emperor's storehouse, where the cloning facilities were, that hopefully they could keep her locked up and then kill her before she had the chance to tell anybody. Unfortunately, Leia pretty much didn't believe that she was behind any of it, and Mara Jade voluntarily gave up the information, which sends Han Solo, Lando Calrissian, Mara Jade and Luke Skywalker to Wayland. The planet is called, it's just a name, it doesn't seem to appear on any official maps as having a name, but that's where the Emperor's storehouse was. And the Nogri, they show up and they're the new bodyguards for Leia now, and they basically said, yep, we're with you now. And they also plant the seed that all of their teams that are out doing jobs for the Empire, someone's informing them all of what's happened, and it seems like they're slowly going to turn on the Empire. and basically attack them from wherever they are, which would be cool. Let's see, what else? Thrawn has a new plan of attack. He get his the cloaking device that he found in the previous book that he's been using. He had it so there were 2 clone ships on a planet, and they got in just under where the planetary shield would be. So when the Star Destroyer came up, the shield went up. They shot a laser at the shield, and then using Jedi Master Seaboth to precisely fire from the 2 ships that were cloaked under the shield. At the exact time the laser would hit the shield, he would fire from the ships and make it seem like Thrawn had a weapon that could fire through shields, which allowed him to take over a few extra planets. And then, because realising that there's a chance that wouldn't work on Coruscant, he cloaked a bunch of asteroids and then just sent them out above Coruscant. So they were just floating there, and any time they could fall out of orbit and crush half of the city and that. So they had to put the shields up and keep them up until they could figure out how to find them, how to destroy them, and how many there were. It turns out there was only 22, but the way that they sent them out with readings and things, it made it seem like there was over 200 of them. So yeah, pretty big. Jorah Seaboth, the clone Jedi Master who'd gone insane, decided to take over the cloning facility, the Emperor's storehouse. Thrawn wasn't happy about it, but Seaboth had already basically taken over the minds of a bunch of people and had some backup plans in order. What I call them, Salamari, these creatures that can stop the Force. They have like Force bulls around them, so you can't use Force attacks. Get them in a huge group and you won't be able to use the Force within like a huge radius around them. And these were all over to stop Seaboth from turning on Thrawn. But of course, because Seaboth used his Jedi powers elsewhere and took over the minds of all these Imperial guards, he was able to manipulate them, get them to do things for him when he couldn't use his Jedi powers. And all this would come into play towards the big final act. Going back to the meteors, the asteroids that were all floating around, they realised they needed this special gravity machine thingy to locate them. Not entirely sure. They find that there's 3 of them, all within Imperial regions within the galaxy. So they realise that this one location is barely guarded and already been attacked before. That would be the most obvious place to attack. And Thrawn would know that. So they decide to attack the most heavily guarded place. So they started first by bringing a bunch of ships, sneaking them, pretending to sneak them in, without the Empire knowing, to this first planet, while secretly setting up another task force that were going to come out of Lightspeed at this other place, attack it, and hopefully get this thing. At the same time, Card has got the smugglers all together. They're like, hey, do you want to make some extra money? We'll go steal this thing from the Empire and sell it to the Republic. And they're also going for the one at the heavily guarded place. So they end up meeting up at the same time, going for the same thing. But Thrawn, of course, in his epic wisdom, realises that they were going for the heavily guarded place and shows up, and there's a huge big final battle where it looks like the Republic might finally get destroyed. And meanwhile, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, Mara Jade and Lando Calrissian, they're going on their way to stop Jedi Master Seaboth and the clones. They get there, turns out that all the Salamari that were there stopping the Force, Seaboth of course had them all killed by the Imperial guards that he'd taken over, so he could now use his full force there. So there was a huge fight there, and of course we also get a special clone. I can't remember if it was in this book or the previous one, I think it was in this. Seaboth basically convinces Captain Pelion, who was like the second in command to Thrawn, that he needs to contact the cloning station and tell them that he's got a specific clone he wants making. It must be kept secret. Palpatine's like, nah, I'm not going to do that, that's bullshit. Fucking, I'm going to tell Thrawn about this. Of course, Seaboth wipes his mind after he's done the task. Palpatine forgets it, and it turns out that Luke Skywalker's hand, yeah, the one he got chopped off, however it had been found, they'd used it to clone Luke Skywalker, and he even had his original lightsaber. So Luke Skywalker had to battle Luke Skywalker, a clone of himself. Mara Jade was trying to help, but she wasn't strong enough in the Force. Seaboth was just insane with power. They make him out as big of a threat as the Emperor, perhaps even bigger. And I never got the sense that he was more powerful than the Emperor. It's just that because he was utterly fucking insane, he could just snap at any second and just go ballistic, while the Emperor was, much more manipulative and conniving and would only use his powers at certain times and would rather torture people than straight out kill them immediately if he could. Things like that. So Seaboth was unhinged and came off as a bigger threat. They have a huge fight, and Mara Jade, who all through the books has been getting a voice in her head from the Emperor, you will kill Luke Skywalker, kill Luke Skywalker. She kills Luke Skywalker's clone! So she's happy now, the voices in her head have stopped, she's murdered Luke Skywalker. Seaboth is finally defeated. They don't kill him, but, well, I think it's basically implied that the entire temple topples on him when they blow up all of the clone chambers and things like that. So they are successful there. And while the huge battle is going on with the Empire and the Republic, the New Republic over this planet, Thrawn gets murdered. Of course, Thrawn has a bodyguard who is one of the Nograi, or Nogray, whatever, like I said, and of course word has gotten back to him that the Empire have been deceiving them and that their debt has been paid. So, Thrawn is murdered mid-battle, and it's kind of a bit anticlimactic. He's just sat in his chair and he's been stabbed, and he says something like, but it was so artistic, because he's obsessed with art. He's always, and that was it. It was very anticlimactic. I did feel like the ending bit was rushed. It felt like there was only maybe 30 pages to cover the entire battle with the Empire and New Republic, the death of Thrawn, and the huge battle with Seaboth and the whole infiltrating the Emperor's storehouse. It did feel a little bit rushed, but overall still excellent. And at the end, Mara Jade seems to have sort of made up her mind to perhaps help the Republic. Whether or not she's joining them or not, we don't know. And they do sort of hint that maybe her and Luke Skywalker will eventually get together. Kind of glad that it didn't happen in these books. I definitely think it needs more time. And more time they will get when I read the Hand of Thrawn duology. I've got the second book already. As I mentioned, I accidentally bought the second book instead of this one. The first book got dispatched today, so I'm expecting that any time now. Yeah, so that is the Thrawn trilogy. And again, I just can't say enough good stuff about these books. They are absolutely fantastic. The character of Thrawn is amazing. I really like Captain Palion as well, he's second in command. At the beginning he doubts Thrawn a lot because Thrawn's just like, yeah, they're not going to do that, they're doing this, and he's like, well, why do you say that? You have no proof. And he finally realises that Thrawn, just from looking at species art, really can predict what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, who they're going to involve, and he realises Thrawn is a tactical genius, and yeah, he really shouldn't question him anymore, and he learns to have even more respect for him as the books go on. You get the sense that he respects him just because he is a Grand Admiral, but the more time he spends with him and the more things he sees him do, he genuinely respects him as a person as well. So that's really cool. Seaboth as the insane Jedi is great. Luke Skywalker's cool. Mara Jade, great character. Talos Card, another great character I would definitely like to see show up in films or cartoon show or whatever. Things like that. like I said, a great trilogy, and while episode 8 and 9 haven't come out yet, obviously 8 is later this year, a lot of people, when they were going to do the new Star Wars trilogy, said do the Thrawn trilogy. And I can absolutely say, based just the first book compared to the first new film, episode 7, Thrawn trilogy would have been a way better idea to do, but at the same time there is so much in these books that they would have had to miss out an absolute ton in the films, so perhaps maybe it is better. I would maybe like them to see them do animated films. Because obviously they've got the animation down with the Star Wars Clone Wars and Rebels at the minute. Thrawn is in Rebels, so they've already introduced the character to that. I would love to see them do like a trilogy animated films. Like DC and Marvel do tons of animated films every year. That unless you're really hardcore fan, I suppose you don't really notice them. I personally don't watch them, but a lot of people do still. So I think maybe they could do these, 2 hours per book with animation. I think they'd be able to get a lot more in, it'd be a lot easier, and it'd be great to see. So yeah, highly recommend all 3 books, pick them up. If I had to choose favourites, I would probably go in order from first to third. Heir to the Empire, my favourite. Dark Force Rising, second favourite. The Last Command, third favourite, only just because the ending does feel kind of rushed. But aside from that, unbelievable, get them read, and I can't wait now to start on the Hand of Thrawn trilogy. So, I'm bigcal, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.